All right, basketball fans, we're back for another deep dive. Get ready, because today we're breaking down some of the most exciting recent NBA matchups.
Yeah, we're talking edge of your seat games, those did that just happen moments.
We've got 5 games on the docket today, each one a little different. We'll see a little bit of everything, blowouts, upsets, some incredible individual performances.
From Orlando's offensive clinic against the Kings to a nail-biter finish between the Jazz and the Warriors, we've got it all.
And how could I forget Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 50-point explosion? You ready to relive some of these highlights?
I'm ready, let's do it. And you know what I think is really interesting? These games weren't just about wins and losses. They give us a glimpse into the future of the league.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You've got these young, hungry teams like the Magic and the Thunder making a statement.
Right.
But then you've got the established powerhouses like the Nuggets just reminding everyone why they're at the top.
It's a really fascinating mix of old and new, power and finesse.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's start with that Orlando Magic and Sacramento Kings game. I mean, the Magic just blew the Kings out of the water, 130 to 111. It was more than just a win, it was a statement. What impressed you most about their performance?
Well, their offensive execution was something else. It wasn't just hitting shots. It was like watching a perfectly choreographed dance.
Yeah, the ball movement was insane.
Exactly. They were running Coach Mosley's system to perfection. Swinging the ball around the perimeter, drawing the defense out, finding cutters to the basket.
How easy scores.
Easy scores. It was beautiful to watch.
And Franz Wagner, he was like the conductor of that orchestra.
Oh, yeah, he was everywhere.
Not just scoring, but facilitating, creating opportunities for his teammates. He really seemed to control the pace of the game.
He finished with 23 points, but it was his 8 assists that really caught my eye. He was making the right reads, finding the open man, keeping the Kings' defense off balance. It's not often you see a young player with that kind of court vision and composure.
You're right about that. And then you've got Paolo Banchero dropping 18 points. It looks like he's not just living up to the hype, he's surpassing it.
Absolutely. The kid's got it all. The size, the skills, the basketball IQ.
Do you think he can become a consistent second scoring option for them?
I think he definitely has the potential. The key is going to be consistency and developing that chemistry with Wagner.
Right.
If those two can really click, the Magic could be a problem for a lot of teams in the East.
No doubt about it. Now, even in a loss like that, Domantas Sabonis still put up a good fight for the Kings, 25 points and 10 rebounds.
Yeah, he did.
But do you think this loss exposed any weaknesses in the Kings' game plan? Anything that might hold them back in the playoffs?
Well, it definitely highlighted their defensive vulnerabilities. They had trouble containing the Magic's penetration and rotations, led to a lot of open shots.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
They're going to need to tighten things up on that end of the court if they want to compete with the best teams in the West.
All right, let's move on to a game that was a total offensive shootout. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, yeah, this one was fun to watch.
I'm sure everyone's heard about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 50-point performance by now.
Unbelievable.
But was that the only thing that led to this 140 to 109 blowout win for the Thunder?
Nah, it was definitely a team effort. The Thunder's young core really stepped up. Jalen Williams had a career-high 32 points. Josh Giddey was dishing out assists like it was nothing, finished with 13 for the game.
Wow.
The Thunder is really starting to gel as a team.
50 points, though. That's a statement game.
It is.
Do you think SGA can replicate this kind of performance against a healthy Suns team?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, the Suns have one of the best defensive schemes in the league when they're at full strength.
Yeah, that's true.
But SGA's improvement this season has been incredible. He's become a complete offensive player, can score from anywhere on the court. I wouldn't bet against him.
And we can't forget, the Suns were missing some key players in this one, Kevin Durant being the big one.
You definitely have to factor that in. Durant's scoring and his defense are a huge part of their game.
Right.
But even with Durant, containing this Thunder team, playing with this much confidence, would be a challenge.
For sure.
I think this win really put the league on notice. The Thunder are a legitimate contender.
Okay, for our third game, let's talk about a team that just keeps on rolling, the Denver Nuggets. They crushed the New Orleans Pelicans, 144 to 119. Were you surprised by the final score at all?
Not really. Not really. The Nuggets are just a well-oiled machine right now. Their offensive firepower is the best in the league.
Yeah, they make it look so easy.
The way they move the ball, their spacing, it's all impeccable. It's a pick-your-poison type of offense.
You double-team Jokic, Porter Jr. is going to burn you from outside. You focus on the perimeter, Jokic will dominate inside.
Exactly.
And speaking of dominant, Michael Porter Jr. was on fire in this one. Tied his career high with 39 points, including 8 three-pointers. What do you think was the key to his success?
Well, I think it's a few things. He's healthy, he's confident, and he's playing in a system that really maximizes his strengths. The Nuggets do a great job of finding him open looks, and he's knocking them down.
Yeah, his shooting was incredible. And it wasn't just the Porter Jr. and Jokic show either. Aaron Gordon had 21 points, Christian Braun chipped in with 15.
Yeah, they've got depth.
The Nuggets' depth is truly remarkable. Everyone on the team contributes.
Exactly. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They're not relying on one or two guys to carry the load. They have a balanced attack, and they can beat you in so many different ways.
Now, for the Pelicans, Zion Williamson led the way with 23 points, 7 rebounds. Do you think they have what it takes to upset a team like the Nuggets in a playoff series? Or are they still a few steps behind?
They have the talent, that's for sure. But they lack the consistency, the defensive discipline to compete with the elite teams in the West right now.
Okay.
They need to figure out a way to contain those high-powered offenses if they want to make a deep playoff run.
Good point. All right, so we've covered 3 incredible games, each one with its own unique story.
It's been a great start.
We've got 2 more nail-biters to break down, and you definitely won't want to miss these.
These next 2 games really showcase what makes the NBA so great. The drama, the intensity, the clutch performances.
Get ready for some last-minute heroics.
It's going to be good.
All right, let's jump into these last 2 games. We've got a real nail-biter first up. The Utah Jazz versus the reigning champs, the Golden State Warriors.
This one was a classic.
Oh, yeah?
Back and forth the whole game.
Can predict the ending.
You could really feel the intensity building with every possession.
I bet.
Lead changed hands so many times.
Had to be on the edge of your seat.
Neither team was willing to give an inch.
It was a great example of the competitive spirit of both these teams.
For sure.
In the end, the Jazz pulled off a 131-128 win.
Yeah, they did.
Pretty impressive against a team like the Warriors, especially since they were down by 14 at one point.
They were.
How do you think they managed that comeback?
I think it comes down to resilience.
Yeah, right.
They never gave up, even when they were down big.
True.
They just kept chipping away.
They did.
Making those big plays on both ends of the court.
Yeah.
And of course, Jordan Clarkson's clutch performance in the fourth quarter was huge.
He was incredible. He really was.
Yeah.
Clarkson led the Jazz with 31 points, hit some of the biggest shots of the night down the stretch.
It seemed like every time the Warriors started to make a run, Clarkson was there to shut it down.
Right. So after seeing a performance like that, do you think Clarkson's solidified himself as that go-to scorer for the Jazz?
Well, he definitely showed he can step up in those big moments.
Yeah.
You know, he's got that fearless mentality you need in a closer.
He does.
Not afraid to take that big shot.
And he usually makes it.
More often than not.
You know, the Warriors didn't go down without a fight.
Oh, no, not at all.
Stephen Curry had a solid game with 32 points. Buddy Hield came off the bench and really sparked them with 28.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Was the Warriors' loss more about the Jazz's resilience, or were there some weaknesses in their game that night?
A little bit of both, I'd say.
Yeah.
The Jazz played exceptionally well.
They did.
But the Warriors had some uncharacteristic turnovers, missed some defensive assignments.
Interesting.
They weren't as sharp as we usually see them.
I see what you mean.
Got to give the Jazz credit, though, for capitalizing on those mistakes.
They really earned that win.
No question.
That game was a great reminder of how competitive the Western Conference is.
Yeah, anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
Even the defending champs can be vulnerable.
Exactly.
All right, for our final game, we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves facing off against the Chicago Bulls.
This one was the Anthony Edwards show.
It really was.
The man was unstoppable,
He was playing on another level.
hitting shots from everywhere,
It was like he couldn't miss.
driving to the basket, showing off his athleticism.
He was a one-man wrecking crew.
49 points, a new career high, leading the Timberwolves to a 127-108 victory. Yeah, there was nothing the Bulls could do to slow him down.
He was just in the zone.
He was.
After a performance like that, do you think we need to start talking about Edwards as a potential most improved player this season?
Oh, he's definitely in the conversation.
Right.
He's taken a huge leap forward this year.
I agree.
He's scoring more efficiently, he's creating for his teammates, and he's really becoming a leader out there on the court.
He's got that swagger, you can tell.
It's exciting to watch.
And the third quarter, wow, that's when he really took over.
No Sundals.
20 points in that quarter alone just single-handedly flipped the momentum.
That's right.
What stood out to you the most about his performance in that quarter?
His confidence.
Yeah,
You could just see it,
it was contagious.
hitting those tough shots, attacking the basket relentlessly.
His teammates were feeding off of his energy.
The whole team elevated their game. It
Absolutely.
was fun to watch.
So the Bulls were missing some key players in this game.
They were.
DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine.
Yeah, two of their best scorers.
Do you think their absence really made the difference? Or was Edwards just destined to have a big night no matter what?
Oh, I think Edwards was going off regardless.
You think so?
He was locked in from the very beginning.
I see.
But yeah, not having DeRozan and LaVine out there definitely made things harder for the Bulls.
Makes sense.
They just didn't have the firepower to match Edwards' offensive explosion.
All right, so there you have it. 5 incredible games, each with its own unique story.
It's been a wild ride breaking these down.
Yeah, it has.
And I don't know about you, but I'm even more excited to see what happens for the rest of the season.
Me too, me too.
Before we wrap things up, though, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what these games tell us about the state of the NBA right now.
That's a great question. It really does feel like we're seeing a changing of the guard.
It does.
All these young guys are stepping up,
Yeah.
taking their teams to the next level.
That's right.
So, looking back at all 5 of these games, is there any particular team or player that really stands out to you as someone to watch in the playoffs?
Oh, that's tough. So many good choices.
I know, right?
But honestly, that Oklahoma City Thunder performance, that was special.
It was.
They're playing with so much confidence right now, almost like a swagger.
I know what you mean. It's contagious.
It is. Their whole team feeds off of it.
Yeah.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is becoming a superstar right in front of our eyes.
He is.
And the rest of the team, they're stepping up around him.
They are.
They could be a real dark horse contender in the West.
They could. I wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs.
Me neither.
And what about the Orlando Magic? Their offense against the Kings was just phenomenal.
It was.
Do you think they have what it takes to shake things up in the East?
The Magic are a really interesting team. A lot of potential there.
I think so too.
They're young, but they're learning fast.
Ragnar and Banchero, they're a fun duo to watch.
They are. If they can keep developing that chemistry and keep that offense running smoothly,
Right.
they could be a really tough out.
Absolutely. It's exciting to see these young teams making some noise.
It is. Keeps things interesting.
Definitely adds another layer of intrigue to the playoff race.
Sure.
Okay, before we let you go, I've got to ask. Which one of these games was your favorite?
Ooh, good question.
Was it the Thunder just lighting it up? The Magic dismantling the Kings? Or maybe that back and forth thriller between the Jazz and the Warriors?
For me, it was that Jazz Warriors game. Yeah, just the back and forth action, those clutch performances, the intensity of those final minutes.
I know what you mean. I was on the edge of my seat that whole game.
It felt like a playoff game.
It did.
It was a reminder that even in a league full of superstars, sometimes it's the team with the most heart, the most resilience that comes out on top.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Those unaccepted moments, that's what makes the NBA so great.
That's what keeps us coming back for more.
It is.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into these 5 amazing NBA matchups.
It does.
I hope you all enjoyed it
I did.
and that you learned a little something about the changing landscape of the league.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep watching, keep learning, and keep that basketball passion burning.
Couldn't agree more.